We've seen the greatest and most gruesome Disney deaths. Now it's time to check out the worst Pixar villain deaths. The most gruesome ones.
Ranking, we're going to be going by the amount of suffering and terror, as well as how long it lasted on screen.
Oh yes, my favorite. Suffering and terror. Thank you, wicked binge.
Starting with the least gruesome and working our way up to the most.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
Being deactivated. We're going to place Otto as the least traumatic.
Is that Portal?
Though his
Oh, it's Wally. No. Yeah, no, I meant that's what I meant. I meant
actions
that.
leading up to his deactivation were stressful to say the least. He was the one that basically ran all of humanity after they fled to space, content with just letting the captains think they were in charge.
I'm the captain of the Axiom. We are going home today.
And was
I'm sorry, Bill. I'm afraid I can't let you do that. Wait, is that what it's a reference to? HAL 9000? Is that what it's called? HAL 9000 from the other movie where there's AI and he's bad?
not going to back down from his post just because a stubborn bot like Wally showed up with a plant.
It is that, isn't it?
After trying again and again to send off the plant and attempting to crush Wally in the process, the captain was able to fight back and switch off the device.
I love how there's just a switch there. Like anyone could switch that off at any time and cause massive damage to the whole ship, but no, we'll just put an off switch up there. Boop. There we go, sorted, we're all right.
Relieved of duty.
Stabbed. The dragon from Onward wasn't given much consciousness, only existing to fulfill a curse.
Whoa, that looks kind of sick.
While stabbing is normally a frightening way to meet your end,
Time to crush a curse!
it wasn't as if they were impaling flesh and muscle with this creature. What
Hey, don't be bigoted, okay? Just because someone isn't made of flesh doesn't mean that they don't feel pain. Well, I mean, maybe it does. Just because they're made of flesh doesn't mean they don't not want to be stabbed.
they were attacking was a collection of concrete, iron, and a magical core keeping it all together.
Magical cores are people too.
Falling. We've all had dreams of falling at some point and have been jolted from a dead sleep in fear of our lives. For
Oh, I hate those
Charles
dreams.
Muntz, this feeling was all he knew in his final moments. However, it's not easy to feel bad for the guy.
An old man taking his house to Paradise Falls.
Leading up to this, he had been attempting to kill an innocent child and a man just trying to fulfill his wife's dream.
I'm sorry, watching two incredibly old men fight against each other is like the most ridiculous stuff. I did love Up though. I love Up. Doug is great. Up is just such a good movie.
It was actually pretty impressive that Charles hadn't fallen the entire time he was chasing Carl. However, we still aren't placing it as the most gruesome on the list, since the height Charles was falling from meant that he would have blacked out long before he hit the ground.
Is that real? You black out before you hit the ground? And then he would have turned into a nice red paste on the floor.
And even if he didn't, his abrupt impact with the ground would have put him out of his misery quick. We can't imagine that it was a peaceful way to go.
Oh, he's got some balloons. He could totally yeah, he'd be all right, right?
It
He's
could
got
have been
balloons.
far more brutal. Crushed. Mordu was finally taken out when a large stone pillar fell on top of him as he lunged towards Merida. But he was slowly dying long before then, presumably only able to keep going due to the curse placed upon him.
He was dying of a broken heart.
Strength of 10 men. Fate be changed.
It's unclear how long Mordu existed.
Oh, that's a beautiful
but
shot.
We do see in
Dude, that shot looks like Skyrim. I'm sorry, you can't convince me otherwise. That looks like
the
Skyrim.
film that his former home had become no more than ruins when Merida came across them. The story of his family and how he gained power was written off by most as a legend.
Lit like the tapestry.
Lit, like patterrz videos. Does anyone say lit anymore? No one says lit anymore, I'm sorry.
Merida's mother calls it an ancient kingdom. We feel this is worth mentioning when ranking his
space?
death, since it meant that Mordu had suffered for an unknown amount of time before he was finally given peace.
Yeah, he doesn't, dude, he's been stabbed like several gorillion times.
Him littered with scars, arrows extended from his body, and that his bare form was beaten horribly all over. over. Being taken down at last, he was able to finally gain peace, his spirit thanking Merida and Eleanor before disappearing.
Thank you for crushing me to death. It was very enjoyable. I loved
Though
it.
he had a horrible descent into madness, his death came as a relief, and so we placed him towards the lesser part of our list. Ernesto we're placing next. Once
Ernesto?
one of the most beloved celebrities of Mexico, he met his end being crushed by a giant bell during
Well, I mean, he's a skeleton, so he's already dead. Skeletons can't feel pain. No, Daniel, don't be bigoted towards skelly boys. They can feel
performance.
pain.
A quick enough death, but we have to place him towards the top of our list since he had to experience this death not once, but twice. And during this second time around, he was given the added terror of being picked up and tossed around like a plaything.
Is that blood on his shirt? They put blood in a Pixar movie? I am stunned.
Having to endure that while also being surrounded by countless lights and the shouts of thousands of fans would have made the experience even more disorienting.
Jesus Christ, he got carried around while everyone was like cheering, like, woo, yeah, he's getting killed, let's go, baby!
Really laying it on how he was no longer in control. And as we can see from the end of the film, Ernesto is deemed unfit to be remembered in the living world due to his lies and deceit, and so meets what is considered to be the final death.
that's
Disappearing
rough.
for good in a painful fashion. Ripped
Nasty.
apart. Syndrome
alright.
was
Oh no! Wait, this counts?
one of the most relatable
We saw this in the
Pixar
Disney one.
villains, and
Well, you know what
that'd be a
happens to
hero.
Syndrome? And I said it was the most disgusting way, and the worst way that you could die, because his
Second
death
is that
scene.
it was a bit of karmic
Is he gonna show it in
justice
this video?
that we say
Please show it in the video, come on.
Syndrome threat, still no deny.
But yeah, there it is. The worst death. This is the worst in my opinion because he knows that he's getting sucked into a plane turbine and then he just gets shredded. His blood and guts go splattering all over the place.
Fear on his face as he tried to claw his way back up.
Look, there's so much time where he's looking back absolutely terrified. No capes, guys. No capes.
And how painful that initial slicing
Dude, look at him recoil. He's seeing the bones and organs and gristle of a human being splatter all over a plane.
of the blade would have been. Finally,
Oh no, it blew up. It also blew up.
we're also going to list Hopper's death in this category, and also give it the gold medal for most gruesome Pixar death. He's one of the earliest Pixar villains.
I think we already saw this one as well because this is when he gets fed to the
such,
children,
has
right?
a special place among longtime fans. His ruling over the ants and his own gang of grasshoppers was to be both feared and sort of admired. Since he was seen as such a powerhouse, it was a shock to Flick when he learned the gang leader was terrified of birds.
Hopper's afraid of birds!
Now, the first bird
Yeah, I would be afraid of birds if they were like 3 times my size as well.
that Hopper came across at the colony was revealed to be built by the ants, under the assumption it would scare him enough to leave.
Bird, it's a bird!
It had almost worked, but ended terribly with PT setting the fake creature up in flames. But Hopper was ultimately able to be taken down by Flick's quick thinking, with the ant luring the gang leader towards the nest and Hopper's guard being taken down by the fake he had encountered previously.
That's such a little look. It's a good boy as well.
This had to make the top of our list since it had some brutal factors to it. Earlier in the film, it was made clear just how much birds are feared by the bugs and insects around, with the creature nearly eating
obviously.
Dot and the rescue circus team when they go in after her. And there was a lot of faith put into the fake bird since it was such a merciless hunter.
Look at that. That's a good boy or girl. That's actually a mummy. I think it's a mummy bird. Oh, look at that. Oh, you good to
among
show
the
people
small
happy.
beings. It was the only known thing to intimidate their oppressor to the point where they were confident that he would never return.
The birds eat the grasshoppers. Hey, like the one that nearly ate you?
When Hopper does finally come face to face with his greatest fear, the audience is left in a state of suspense when it takes him a moment to realize it wasn't another trick. Hopper's death was full of fear as he was left to recognize the threat for what it was and try to flee. unable to simply fly away.
Dude, that's okay. This is actually horrifying. I think that I still think Syndrome is worse than this, but just knowing that you're being hovering above it and
Due to
couldn't
the
he fly?
rain being a hazard at that moment, and the bird
When it
closing
drops,
in quickly
maybe he could fly
since
away?
he was so close to the nest. And then we finally see Hopper's final moments, not only from the outside, but from Hopper's perspective, which isn't something we typically get to experience.
Oh, they're all so happy. Look at all the white peepos. They're
In
so
these last
happy.
few seconds, we see a frightened Hopper trying desperately to break free and stay clear of the young beaks of the young birds in the nest jumping to nip at him before finally we're given a view of a hungry mouth. Not
It looks like Chica from Five Nights at Freddy's. He just got jump scared. He just dies in Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, oh, damn it, I didn't make it to 6 a.m.
only was Hopper taken out by the one creature he feared more than anything else, but wasn't just a single bird as we thought it would be. Hopper was ripped apart by an entire family, his last moments being spent as sustenance and really driving home how far he fell from grace.
Hey, listen, if I was gonna die because I was a Pixar villain, at least I would want to be used as sustenance, right?
From being a ruthless thug and leader to bird feed. But what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think there are some more gruesome deaths than that, but I still think Syndrome was the most gruesome death. That one was that one was awful. That was really, really, really bad. Hopper's is still pretty bad, though, because he gets jump scared and eaten by Chica from Five Nights at Freddy's. Subscribe to Wicked Binge, links in the description. Also, subscribe to More Patterrz too.